think I'm at the point where I know now is the time. The actual delegation, I think, is the main thing. Like knowing, we talked about it before, where you said you always want to keep the balance of the stuff that you enjoy and the stuff that you're good at, but then also the stuff that either takes up your time. You might still be good at it, but if it's stopping you from preventing most of the more important things, it's working. It just some things that you notice to actually find those, recognise those patterns and know where to put the time.
I think the most important thing that I've learned over time on one of these business programs that I went on was around my sweet spot of what I'm really good at, but what I love doing as well. So I love meeting clients, winning new business still, and coming up with new creative ideas around marketing. So I try and surround myself in that little circle or bubble. And anything outside of that, I try my best to outsource. So Melissa takes a lot of that as office manager. So I will delegate that as much as possible. And I get in the habit of delegating what else can I get off my plate so I can free myself up more on my biggest income generating tasks. And I focus on that as much as possible. And there's things that I know the team might not do as effectively in my eyes as much as what I can do. But you have to really sacrifice that in order to grow, because you have to be zoned in and focused on what you can leverage the quickest and most effective results on your day, because you only get so many hours in a day as well. Absolutely. And it can be quite overwhelming. So delegation's really key, and it's all about perfecting it. So when I'm delegating something, I'll record a video of how I expect it to be done, how it's done, and what challenges you could get with that, and then I'll pass that on to the team. And then they'll create a step-by-step method for that as a process. And then I will review it over 2 or 3, 4 weeks. And then once I'm happy with their process and how they do it, then I forget about it and let them crack on until it breaks again and comes back. That's a perfect scenario. But in terms of hiring staff, I mean, it is quite daunting, because I remember when we first started the business, we hired maybe a couple of remote recruiters, and they were down as like a freelancer, so they were self-employed, they had their own company, etc., but they worked for us. And the ideal model, that would have been great, but in reality it never really works out that way. So when you're trying to build an asset and build an actual solid business, you need physical heads and physical staff. But then once you're hiring them, it's like, well, the culture, what's your vision? Why would they join you? What's your mission? What's the principles in your business? Which is something that we've went through. We've got like 10 core principles on Ronald James, and what the culture and where we are actually going in the business over the next 3 years, and we're very focused on that. But that all comes over time. So the point is planning and doing it all beforehand. Just my recommendation is just as you go. So when you hire, then figure it out. Then you hire more heads, figure it out. Then you know you need to have a culture. Then you know you need to have your mission and values. And do you want to grow as a business to sell it one day, or to pass it on to the management team, or just always have that business? Like there's loads of different ways. Or a lot of people get into business for the most common ways people get into business is for freedom and money. So they're sick of working for another boss.
In the first 2 years, you have neither of that.
Exactly, yeah. You just, at the start, an underpaid employee member of your own business, because you're just operational in it all of the time. But eventually it gives you more freedom as you do well, and the rewards after probably year 2 and 3 are really good, that you would never probably get in an employed job, depending on what you're doing. Yeah, I would recommend just not overhiring at the start. Watch the cash, making sure you're going at the right pace. But when the right person comes along and you get a good feeling about them, then give them a go. Yeah. But one thing I have learned, probably the hard way, is hiring too fast and firing slow. Yeah. Rather than hiring slow, fire fast. Mm-hmm. Is probably one of the best tips I would give on staff.